Welcome to our video, where we'll delve into the world of Stoicism and explore how it can help us recognize and handle situations when someone uses us for their own interests. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy founded by thinkers such as Zeno of Citium and Marcus Aurelius, teaches us the value of self-control, acceptance, and tranquility of mind. In this video, we'll focus on applying Stoic principles to recognize and deal with behavioral traits of individuals who might be using us. Too often, we find ourselves in situations where we feel used or undervalued. It might be a subtle sense that your efforts go unappreciated, or more overt displays of selfishness and ingratitude. It's important to be able to recognize such signs to protect ourselves from emotional exhaustion and maintain inner peace. Stoicism offers us tools for this, teaching us to differentiate between what we can control, our own actions and reactions, and what we cannot control, the actions of others. In this video, we'll explore 7 key behavioral traits that might indicate someone is using you and discuss how Stoicism can help us navigate these situations. These traits include self-centered behavior, lack of gratitude, unequal exchange, lack of support, manipulative behavior, inconsistency in promises, and emotional pressure. By learning to recognize these traits and applying Stoic principles, we can better safeguard our emotional well-being and maintain balance in our relationships. Let's now take a closer look at each of these traits and discuss how Stoicism can assist us in dealing with them. Egocentric behavior. Description and examples. Egocentric behavior is when a person is consistently focused on themselves, their needs, and desires, often ignoring or diminishing the feelings and needs of others. This can manifest in various forms, from a reluctance to listen to and consider others' opinions to outright disregard for their emotional state. For instance, a colleague who consistently redirects conversations to their achievements, disregarding others' contributions, or a friend who always talks about their problems without inquiring about yours. Stoic approach. Stoics teach that we cannot control the behavior of others but can control our reaction to it. When confronted with egocentric behavior, Stoics would recommend maintaining composure and not letting emotions take over. Instead of attempting to change the person or engaging in conflict, it's better to focus on our own actions and reactions. This means maintaining boundaries and asserting our needs with respect and tolerance. Stoics also emphasize the importance of developing compassion. Even when faced with egocentrism, we can try to understand why a person behaves in such a way and maintain compassion toward them. This doesn't mean justifying or tolerating mistreatment, but it helps in preserving inner peace and not allowing negative emotions to control us. Practical tips. When encountering egocentric behavior, first assess the situation from a Stoic perspective. What can I control in this situation? Practice the ability to listen without judgment while clearly defining your boundaries. Don't hesitate to express your opinions and needs. Remember the importance of compassion and try to understand the reasons behind someone else's egocentric behavior while maintaining self-respect. This is the initial step in understanding how Stoicism can help us deal with challenging relationships and maintain balance in our daily lives. Absence of gratitude description and examples. The absence of gratitude occurs when a person consistently takes your help, efforts, or contributions for granted without expressing appreciation or thanks. This might be a colleague who never acknowledges your assistance in a project, or a friend who expects your support but never acknowledges its value. Such behavior can evoke feelings of invisibility and being undervalued. Stoic approach. Stoics teach that our inner tranquility should not depend on external recognition or gratitude. We should do good deeds not for praise or attention, but because it's right and aligns with our internal principles. Helping others is an expression of our character and internal values, not a means to seek acknowledgement. However, it doesn't mean that we should unconditionally tolerate ingratitude. Stoicism also teaches us to set healthy boundaries and respect ourselves. If the feeling of being undervalued begins to negatively impact our well-being, it's important to reassess the dynamics of relationships and perhaps reconsider our contribution to them. Practical tips. Remember that your value isn't defined by others' gratitude. Your self-worth and dignity come from within. Express your expectations and feelings regarding gratitude and acknowledgement openly, but without demands. Evaluate whether it's worth continuing to invest in relationships where your help and efforts are not appreciated, and don't be afraid to step back if necessary for your emotional well-being. This approach helps maintain self-respect and strengthen inner resilience, even when facing ingratitude in our relationships. Unequal exchange description and examples. Unequal exchange occurs when one side consistently gives more in a relationship than they receive in return. This could be a friend who always asks for help, but never offers it in return, or work relationships where one person takes on more tasks while the other avoids their responsibilities. Such dynamics can create a sense of exploitation and unfairness. Stoic approach. Stoics teach the importance of seeking fairness and balance in all aspects of life, including interpersonal relationships. However, they also remind us that our expectations regarding others' behavior often exceed our control. Therefore, it's crucial to focus on our own actions and intentions, not allowing the unequal exchange to negatively affect our inner state. Stoics also emphasize the importance of setting clear boundaries and the ability to say no when necessary for maintaining personal well-being. This doesn't mean being selfish or unresponsive, but underscores the value of self-respect and self-care. Practical tips. Evaluate your relationships. Are they truly based on reciprocity and respect? Express your expectations regarding fair exchange openly and honestly, and be willing to reconsider the relationship dynamics if they become one-sided. Learn to decline if you feel your efforts are not appreciated or exploited, while maintaining stoic tranquility and respect for yourself and others. This aspect of Stoicism helps us stay true to ourselves and our values, even when faced with unequal exchange in our relationships. Absence of support. Description and examples. The absence of support in relationships occurs when one side consistently needs emotional, physical, or moral support, but doesn't receive it in return from the other side. This could be a friend who never shows interest in your problems, or fails to offer help when you need it, or a family member who disregards your feelings and doesn't provide emotional support. Such behavior can evoke feelings of loneliness and being undervalued. Stoic approach. Stoics teach that our emotional well-being shouldn't be entirely reliant on the support of others. It's important to develop inner strength and independence to sustain oneself through difficult times. However, Stoicism also recognizes the value of interpersonal relationships and mutual assistance. Therefore, if the lack of support in relationships becomes systematic, it's worth reconsidering these relationships and their impact on your life. Stoics also emphasize the importance of direct and candid communication. Expressing your needs and expectations can help others better understand you and offer the necessary support. Practical tips. Strengthen your inner strength and independence to not be entirely dependent on others' support. Express your needs for support clearly and confidently, without hesitation to ask for help when necessary. Evaluate how reciprocal and supportive your relationships are, and be willing to make changes to preserve your well-being. This aspect of Stoicism underscores the importance of balancing internal independence and the value of supportive relationships, helping us build healthier and more balanced connections with others. Manipulative behavior description and examples. Manipulative behavior is when someone uses deceit, tricks, or emotional pressure to make you do what they want, often at the expense of your interests or well-being. Examples could include a friend blaming you for their problems to manipulate you into doing things their way, or a partner threatening to end the relationship if you don't meet their expectations. Such behavior can evoke feelings of guilt, helplessness, and a loss of control. Stoic approach. Stoics teach the importance of maintaining clarity of mind and not allowing external circumstances to manipulate our emotions and decisions. This involves recognizing manipulative tactics and refusing to emotionally react to them. Instead, Stoics advise focusing on our internal values and principles, using them as a guide when making decisions. Stoicism also emphasizes self-respect and setting clear boundaries. This means being able to say no to manipulative demands and defending your rights and interests. Practical tips: be aware of and recognize manipulative tactics to prevent them from influencing your decisions. Follow your internal values and principles, not allowing manipulation to undermine your self-respect and self-worth. Establish clear boundaries and be ready to defend them while maintaining composure and respect for yourself and others. This aspect of Stoicism helps us develop resilience against manipulative behavior and strengthens our inner strength and independence. Inconsistency in promises. Description and examples. Inconsistency in promises occurs when a person frequently makes commitments but regularly breaks them, failing to fulfill what they've pledged. This might be a friend who constantly promises to meet up or assist, but consistently finds excuses not to, or a colleague who commits to supporting a project but doesn't follow through on their word. Such behavior can evoke feelings of unreliability and disappointment. Stoic approach. Stoics teach that we cannot control other people's actions, including their promises and their fulfillment. Therefore, it's essential to focus on what we can control, our own expectations and reactions. Instead of being disappointed by unkept promises, Stoics recommend taking such situations as an opportunity to strengthen our inner resilience and self-sufficiency. Additionally, Stoics advise practicing forgiveness and understanding, recognizing that each person has their weaknesses and limitations. At the same time, it's crucial to set realistic expectations and be prepared for the possibility that some promises may not be kept. Practical tips. Practice detachment from the outcome of promises, maintaining calmness and equilibrium regardless of whether they are fulfilled. Cultivate inner resilience by reminding yourself that your well-being isn't contingent on the actions of others. Set realistic expectations from others and be prepared for the fact that at times, promises may remain unfulfilled, while still maintaining respect for yourself and others. This aspect of Stoicism helps us maintain emotional stability and independence, even when faced with inconsistency and unreliability from others. Emotional pressure description and examples. Emotional pressure occurs when someone uses feelings of guilt, shame, fear, or obligation to influence or compel you to act in a certain way. It could be a partner suggesting that if you love them, you should do something for them, or a relative continually reminding you of their sacrifices and expecting specific actions from you in return. These situations can evoke feelings of guilt and difficulty in decision-making. Stoic approach. Stoics emphasize the importance of inner freedom and independence from external circumstances. They teach that decisions should be based on our own principles and beliefs, not on external pressure or manipulation. This means recognizing emotional pressure and refusing to succumb to it while maintaining your calmness and self-respect. Stoics also advise practicing compassion and understanding towards those applying pressure, without compromising boundaries and self-respect. It's crucial to maintain a clear understanding of what is fair and right for you, despite others' demands or expectations. Practical tips. Rely on your internal convictions and values when making decisions, without yielding to emotional pressure. Recognize and set personal boundaries, not allowing others to cross them under the guise of emotional obligations. Practice compassion and understanding toward others, but don't let it diminish your self-respect and independence. This aspect of Stoicism helps us maintain personal independence and self-respect, even when faced with emotional pressure and attempts at manipulation from others. Conclusion, summary, and reflection. Throughout our exploration of resilience against selfishness, 7 signs you're being used, we've delved into various behavioral traits that may indicate others are taking advantage of us for their own ends. We've discussed how Stoicism can assist us in recognizing and dealing with these situations, teaching us to maintain composure, self-respect, and inner balance. Key points. Remember the importance of self-control, acceptance, and inner peace, which are key tenets of Stoicism. Develop the ability to recognize egocentric behavior, lack of gratitude, unequal exchange, lack of support, manipulative behavior, inconsistency in promises, and emotional pressure. Strengthen your internal resources and the skill of setting boundaries to shield yourself from the negative influence of these behavioral traits. Final thoughts. The pursuit of a Stoic life doesn't imply indifference or passivity. On the contrary, it's an active process of self-awareness, self-respect, and establishing healthy boundaries. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot change and wisely change what we can, always mindful of maintaining harmony between our inner world and the external environment. Call to action. We urge you to practice these Stoic principles in your daily life. Let them aid you in fostering healthier and more harmonious relationships, while safeguarding your emotional well-being and inner tranquility. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to our channel for more insights into Stoicism and its applications in contemporary life.